So if you've not seen recently, Warthunder has introduced a new spreadsheet that's showing off the BR changes which are coming to the game soon. Now, in my opinion, it's basically just pushing a problem somewhere else, just like that good old SpongeBob meme of he's just pushing a town somewhere else. It's basically pushing up some battle ratings for, the mid tiers up to the high tiers, where you have issues of stuff not having certain equipment. Mainly, if you want to dumb it down to the kind of like what it's trying to do, is they're trying to move around some of the vehicles that would see like World War II vehicles, which had heat FS, which had, AT gems, and kind of move them up in BR to actually make it to where they don't see them anymore, which is kind of interesting. Now, the thing is, if you kind of just want to make this into, oh, we're fixing the World War II area of the game, it's kind of a lie. And I bet this title is going to be titled something like World War II is now fixed or something like that. But if you look at it, there's a bunch of World War II vehicles, which are seeing Cold War vehicles like the IKV-103. You're seeing stuff like the M36B2, which have heat FS, which will easily go through stuff like Tiger 2s even. Now, nothing has also been said about Japan's 6-3 lineup, but we'll digress with that one. At the same time, it's one of those more interesting things because it's one of those things that even I don't 100% understand how it's going to impact the game. The only thing that I know for certain is that it's going to impact the game a lot. It's probably going to be one of the biggest updates to ground forces, probably in a good bit, whenever it comes to just what will be facing each other, what will be the new meta vehicles whenever it comes to everything. Because it's one thing that not really many people talk about is that yes, they're moving up vehicles, they're changing around, BR brackets, they're moving vehicles to new places. And the thing about it is that there's still going to be meta stuff. And if you want something right now that's not even on the list, that is going to be a very dominant vehicle just within this new BR change is the Object 279. So if you don't know what that thing is, it's a monster. It already does very, very well within the game. But now they're moving up stuff that it would normally never see, like the Leopard 1, where now the Leopard 1 barely will be able to pin that thing. And you should easily be able to kill Leopard 1s because, well, it's just a Leopard 1. It had no armor to begin with. Now, at the same time, there's some interesting things, we don't have time to go over every little BR change, but I'm just going to go over the interesting ones to me at least I think is pretty funny to talk about within Warthunder. So we had stuff like the BTR 80A, which is going up, which is fine to me because like I've said in the video about it, I believe, or like something I made about it, that the BTR is one of those vehicles that really isn't that great in the down tier because you're starting to face stuff you can't even pin, like Tiger 2s, like T29s, like all that sort of stuff. But once you move it up to where it sees a bunch of leopards, well, it can pin them from the side and normally get a lot of kills. Whenever it sees a lot of more light tanks, it also does pretty well as well. The thing, at least, that I don't 100% agree on is that the BMP-1 and, as well as the other BMPs for all the other nations, they're going up to 8.0 from 7.3. Now, you may be like, Dawg, it has an AT gem. It's got a decently good pinning gun. The thing about it is now this thing has been moved up to 8.0, where the options for the 8.0 lineup now are kind of really insane for what you get. You have stuff like the Object 906, which to me at least I think is just completely better than a BMP-1. You also have stuff like the T-54s, which are going to be 8.0, which also to me at least will be better than a BMP-1. And it's going to be one of those interesting areas of the game of why do I choose the BMP-1 over stuff like the Object 906? Is it going to be because of the AT gem? No, because they nerfed it. Why would I want to use this? My 906 is an autoloader, as heat FS, will be able to do everything the BMP can, but probably even a little bit better, which is going to be very interesting. And it's one of those things that I've seen throughout this list is that there's just a ton of vehicles now which are going into the same BR bracket as existing very good vehicles, or that were going to be very good vehicles, and they're kind of just in a weird place. For example, the Ocelot and the 1A2, both of those vehicles are going to be the same BR within this new BR change, which is, in my opinion, kind of insane. Why would you want this thing to be the same BR? There is strengths and negatives to both of those vehicles, one having a gun, one having a very small profile. But at the end of the day, what's the point of having them at both of the same BR? They're both SPAs, they're supposed to be pretty good. But, at the same time, they don't really help lineups within, the game itself, which I think is a pretty negative thing. Now, you do have a bunch of stuff within the upper tiers going up as well, like the T80Us, T80UM2s, all that sort of stuff, M1A. These vehicles I thought was going to be very dominant to begin with. Like, whenever they first came out, you've seen a bunch of people get nukes with them. They're pretty good whenever it comes to Warthunder, and I'm not really surprised that they're going up. But yeah, what do you guys think about this whole BR change? I think it's going to be very interesting. I think there's going to be new areas of the game which can be very, very, very lucrative whenever you have certain vehicles. And, the one that at least comes to mind right now for me is definitely going to be that wonderful Object 279, because nowhere is it mentioned within this, especially with IS-7 even as well. There's just going to be some of these heavy tanks which are going to be very dominant, especially in stuff like down tiers and all that sort of stuff whenever it comes to Warthunder. Also, I don't see stuff like the M103, or at least I don't see it on this list, so that's going to be something that also we'll have to face Tiger 2s, which I mean, to be honest, it's not really that big of an issue to me. But yeah, you know, there's stuff going to be like the 20 pounder for the British, which are going up in BR, which I kind of don't agree with. The 20 pounder has been one of those like rounds, at least like for the APDS. And some people have actually went down to resulting to using solid shot for it. So yeah, this BR change really isn't a change whenever it comes to stats based. It's basically around feelings. And whenever you have stats and, you know, feelings and all that sort of stuff combined into this, you kind of get something like this, which in my opinion could be a very positive thing for Warthunder, or it could be one of the worst BR changes we've ever seen within a game. It's one of those things that we're just going to see how it goes, you know, see how it performs. And, you know, maybe we come back and we're like, hey, this is very positive. Or the BR around like the rank 5s will just be completely tanked because 8.7s will just run the game. So we'll have to see. You know, China 8.7 going to be very poppin'. Russia 8.7 still going to be very poppin'. And, you know, those vehicles that are going to be around 8.0 to 7.7, 7.3 even, we'll have to just see how they do now, especially with them getting moved up in BR. So yeah, hopefully everyone is doing well. What do you guys think about these BR changes? Is there anything in particular that you think is very, you know, concerning whenever it comes to this? Is it something that you actually look forward to? You know, if you view it from the angle of this is just completely removing World War II vehicles from facing Cold War, you're wrong, and it really didn't matter to begin with. So hope everyone has a wonderful day, and see you guys in the next Warthunder video.